Hello friends, I am Hardik Patel. Welcome back to Python tutorial. Today we are going to talk about Python decorators. So I think you may have heard about this decorators and maybe you have used maybe in other programming languages also, but in Python let's check how it works. So I will show you one decorator which is very simple and then after that maybe we will use that decorator, not that decorator, but we will build another decorator that can be used in our this user application here before this create functions. So whenever you create this function, before executing of the create function, execution of the create function, we want to just check that uh, is it coming for second account, or is calling someone that is providing the username, or is username is already available or not available. So those kind of conditions we want to check before doing this particular execution. So that way our this function calling will be smaller, so it will be more cleaner and very easy to understand, right? Because this create function is for what? Just creating that, right? So why would we have all these conditions here? Instead of that, what we can do, that just create one decorator and just put here like this, at the rate is new account, right? Something like that. That's it. And this is new account is a decorator, and that will be called, and it will allows, and whatever these conditions are fulfilled, then only this will be called, this function will be called. So we will look at that after just learning some sample decorator, very simple. Okay, so let's create one. So what I'm going to do is that let's say for example I have one function that is print f, okay, and inside that there is Hardik string. Yes, okay, and then what I'm doing, print s, and before that I just put some sleep. So I will explain that why I'm putting that sleep, 2 second sleep. And before using the time library we need to import that as well, import time. Okay, yeah. So what I want to do, that how much this printf function takes time to execute. So obviously it will take 2 second plus, right? It might be taking very small time in maybe nanosecond or millisecond or microsecond, but this 2 seconds will be there. Just I want to see that how much time it will take to execute. So what I can do, that timing is my decorator, and what timing decorator does, that will just note down the time before executing printf function, and then after completion of printf function there is another time will be noted down, and just we will see the difference of both those timing. So automatically we will come to know that how much time it takes, right? Okay, so let's write down direct decorator. So decorator name is timing, right? And what will be the argument of this particular decorator? That is this function, but we can write down here anything. Let's say for example I am just writing func function for short form, it's right? So I have used fun, and then there is another function inside that is wrapper, which is up to you what you want to name that function. Okay, but what it is doing, this is accepting 2 arguments, that is args, and second is keyword arguments. Okay, and then we will write the logic here of the decorator, but what we need to do, that return wrapper function. Okay, so this is the syntax of decorator. Now whatever you write the logic here, that will be executed whenever you call this function, right? So let's say for example I have called this function printf, and then inside there is only argument, that is Hardik. Okay, so those argument, whatever arguments you have given here by comma separated, those will be come here, those will come in a args variable. But until unless if you don't want to use that, just we are just doing timing, so we don't need that, right? So let's note down first t1, that is time dot time, right? So we have noted down the time, starting time, and then we will call this function, right? So to do that, printf, we don't know what is the argument here, but we are accepting this, so we just need to pass all this there here. Okay, and then again we will note down the time, that is t2 dot time. Okay, and then we will return that t2 minus t1, and thus we need to convert that into the string. Okay, that's it. Okay, now what we will do, so how we will know that is executed first and what is executed second? So let's print more thing, that is start. Okay, then print and okay, yeah. So and here already we have written that as whatever we are going to pass in the argument. Okay, so now let's call this function, that is printf, and inside that, okay, let's not do from here, but we will import here ipython, and then from user dot decorators import star. Okay, now my printf function is here, see, printf, and then I will pass Hardik. Let's see what happens. What happened here? Is there any problem here? Can you see any error? So let's remove for the time being sleep and just run again. Are you calling same function from here anywhere? No, right? This is just a print function. Okay, now let me import again. So let me change the function name, that might be the creating the problem. My okay, got it. So what we are doing here, we don't need to call this printf function. We got an error, right? So what is that error? We have that function name, we cannot call this printf function, because whenever you call this function by this name, automatically timing function will be called again. So that is the problem. But we got an argument, that is fun, and that is indicating this printf function. So we don't need to call this printf function, instead just call this like this, fun, and inside that give those arguments. Okay, so let's check it now, and also let's remove this comment, and then exit, then comment ipython, and then let's import that like this, and it should work now. Start, and then it is waiting for 2 seconds, then Hardik, and then end, and then what was the time? It took 2 seconds and 3 milliseconds, right? So now you can see here what happened. First start is printed, then time was not down, then function is called, and that is printf function, that time dot sleep, it took 2 times, and then printed whatever we have passed as an argument, that is Hardik, and then and is printed, and after that it returns t2 minus t1, so whatever time it took to execute this function, and then just we have printed here. So very simple, right? So what I think you have understand what is the purpose of decorators. Okay, so that's it for this basic and simple decorators. And let's now create one decorators which is useful in this create functions. So let's create that also. So I'm going to comment this because it might be useful when I put this as a repository, and you may be able to download. Still I haven't worked on that, but I will put this code somewhere and you can just grab that. Okay, so let's create a decorator. What we name that? Yes, this is okay. I guess is new account, right? And then let's create here is new account, then inside that fun colon, then wrapper, inside that args, and okay. So this was syntax. I think first always write this, and then yeah, so we need to check three things. First is id is set. If id is set, then we will say that only one account can be created, right? So that will be written. And second, so let's do first that. So what is the arguments? This args and kw args. This fun, that means our create function. Then args, inside args you will get this self and data. So self you have, and inside that is id, right? So let's do that. Self, I will put name self, not self, but self object is equal to args, and then inside that there is 0, and data is equal to args and then 1. Okay, so there will be first argument and this is second argument. Now what we will do, we will check that if self object dot id, if id is available then there is nothing, otherwise else. Same logic I think we can copy from here. First same logic we are going to print write down here, right? So instead of self, just put self object. If id is there, then there is, we need to check like this. What is data? Now data is available, same, we need to just check that username. If username is available, then proceed to this, else provide username, and like this. If a in account dot accounts, also similar to that, and like this. Instead of return, we can write like this. Then I think spelling mistake, return. Okay, and right, so if proceeds, if it goes to here, we don't need to execute this logic here, right? Because that might be changed in future. We are just checking conditions only here. So instead of that, just you will call fun function, and inside that just pass these two arguments, and then you just remove all the code from here and just put only for all 4 lines. Simple, very easy, right? It is returning nothing, it was just printing the all values. Now we have built the decorators. Now what we are going to do, we just import that here from dot decorators import is new account. Okay, enter. Now we have already used here the syntax of using decorator, that is @ and is new account. Okay, so now can we check? Okay, so let's go to IPython again. I guess I can do like this. and let's from user dot user import star. Okay, and what is our main class? That is account. We will create first instance, and if you want to see how many users are there, that is accounts. Okay, so that is no account created right now. So let's try to create first a dot create. So first I will give the blank values, so it may be check that first condition, not first condition, but let's see that id is not there, right? That is first time we are creating, so id will not be there, so that condition will be fulfilled. But username will not be available in data because we are passing just blank dictionary. So let's see that. See, provide username, we haven't done, right? So that function has only 4 lines now, but still we are getting this value, this message. But from where that is coming from is new account, because this is executing first. Now let's do one thing, that is we are just passing username, then Hardik. Okay, let's create this one. What we have done, that is okay, single quote, yeah, account is not defined. Okay, so what is that error? Here it is. So account, it's a class, and that is from here. Now what will happen here? That is circular dependency. So we can call this from this, and we want to call this method in this. So we cannot import like cyclic. So what we have to do is that we can do that. We have object name, right? Self object. So self object has a argument, that is class. So let me show you that. Here it is, a has object, right? If you dot, and then you can see here, sorry, class. Okay, so if you see that the class is available like that. So what you need to do, that is you need to write down like this, subject dot here, and then dot underscore class underscore like this. Okay, so wherever you use that capital account, that is a class name which cannot be imported, because we have imported this decorator inside that users also. So that means that will be the circular dependency. It will not be it will not allow to import one model to other and the same model to that first one. So we can tackle this situation by like this, particularly in this situation, but there are other ways also to avoid the circular dependency. So we will see that also. Okay, so for now let's exit again, clear, then let's do IPython again. Let's import first account, and I will try to create this. Okay, so it is created now. If you will see that a.id is there, right? And then a dot get function is also there. It will return the values, and now also you can see that account dot accounts, that is also available. But now if I will try to create again with the same username, it will say that only one account can be created because id is available now, right? Yeah. Okay, now let me create another object of account, that is b, and if I try to create with the same value but in a b instance, what it will say, username is not available. Why? Because that username is already used, right? So let me change to that arrow. Okay, and now if you will see that account dot accounts, there are 2 accounts are available. So we have, what we have done, that condition checking all the conditions which we have moved into the decorators. We can create multiple decorators, like for just checking only this, is it created or not. Second, for this, so if you will create multiple, you can call like this you can call multiple decorators like this, but if you want to use separate for like this in update, only you want to check that ID is there or not, right? So just checking for that, like account available, right? So if you want to check that only, you can also create like this. So that's up to you how you want to build the application. Okay, so that's how you can use decorators. And so I think that's it. Okay, so enjoy using decorators in your application, and thank you for watching.